This is the Songwriting Mind, a program exploring the personal depths of creativity, stories, and craft that define songwriting. In this episode, we hear from Heather Carpenter, a songwriter from the Oregon coast who performs solo and with her band Dry Spell. Enjoy.
It's back, it's back, it's back, it's back in me. I have a memory of being a little girl in the back of the car, and I was probably just a really small kid, probably first or second grade, making up songs, just like kind of singing to soothe myself in the back of the car. I didn't know I was writing songs. I wasn't writing songs, but I definitely, from a very young age, I was doing that. I started writing songs on the back of the bus. My friend and I, Veronica, we would show up that day with something that we had wrote and sing it to each other. But we had these little journal notebooks that we'd pass back and forth with lyrics. And we would sort of write songs together that way. And so I remember that mostly junior high school time of doing that. And then I think I was 16 and I had played guitar in front of one of my boyfriend's moms at the time. And she was like, "Oh, you need a guitar. I can tell you're going to be good at playing guitar." And I didn't really know anything about it. But she saw something in me and bought me a guitar for Christmas. And that was that. Then I just started writing songs on that guitar. And I just knew to listen to what sounded good. And so I would just play the guitar by hitting one string, holding one string, and play completely open. And I still play mostly open chords. And I still play weird chords that I've sort of made up. And now I know that they're actually chords. But back then I just thought I was making up all this stuff. And I was, really. But yeah, that's how I started writing songs. I was writing about relationships and my difficulties with my parents and just navigating that time. And I really think that little girl in the backseat writing songs to sort of express myself, I think that just kind of carried through. And that's still what I do. I write songs a lot as therapeutically, and I tuck them away, and my songs aren't that precious. Most of them are not that precious. There's a lot of just get it out in my songwriting. I have a song called Come Back Someday, and it's a newer song that I wrote, and I wrote it right after a class that I'm taking, an Indian philosophy class. And in Indian philosophy, they believe in reincarnation. And, that's just so far out for me and kind of scary. I don't want to come back. I definitely don't want to be a kid again. And when you're a baby, you're just what even are you? You're just so vulnerable. And I don't want to be a junior high kid. I don't want to be a teenager. None of that stuff. I don't want to be in my 20s. I finally got to my 40s. You're telling me I have to do this again? And so, the whole song is really about that. But when you hear the song and the emotionality of the song, it probably aligns more with how I was feeling. But the lyrics are more what I was digesting mentally. And that's kind of interesting. And I do see that in my music sometimes, where the emotionality is either stored in the lyrics or the melody, sometimes not both. And sometimes I don't have words to express what I'm feeling, but I have something on my mind that might not be in relation, but still works. So in that song, I say, even if you don't know the way, come back someday. And that's completely in relation to reincarnation. You're not going to know how that process happens, but you're coming back someday. And this whole song is about enjoying this sort of little things in life, the things in life that make me in particular happy or have this appreciation or gratitude, which is or contentment, more if we're talking about yoga, where I want to jump in the river, so cold makes you shiver. I want to wash my sheets twice a week. One of my favorite things is clean sheets. And then, I was worried because this song, because it's about reincarnation, it's also about death. And so one of the lines, and I actually warned my partner when I played this song for them because I was like, don't think I'm like suicidal. But one of the lines is, I want to crash my car, go over the edge, see how it ends. And, that's not untrue. I think there's moments when I have felt like, what is that like? And I do think about these things. And so, yeah, that's in the song. And that's what the song is about. But I think it sounds like I'm wanting like a lover to come back. And I think the majority of the people, when they hear that song, that's exactly what they think. And I would say no one would jump to the conclusion that it's about reincarnation or life and death and just enjoying the simple things in life. So, yeah. I count my blessings twice, feeling to my own mind. Ask myself if it's time. Leave a little early, get there before the birdies. Yeah, even if you don't know the way, come back someday. Come back someday. Yeah, even if you don't know the way, come back someday. Come back someday. I wanna wash my sheets twice a week. I wanna jump in the river, so cold, give the shivers. I wanna crash my car, go over the edge, see how it is, see how it is. Yeah, even if you don't know the way, come back someday. Come back someday. Yeah, even if you don't know the way, come back someday. Come back someday. Yeah, come back someday. 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 Day, 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 day. Yeah, even if you don't know the way, come back someday. Come back someday.
I remember you told me how, like, usually the song will come to you all at once.
Yeah. All at once. And this is funny, but I will be playing my songs and accidentally hit a chord and be like, that's a cool chord. And then I'll write a song from the chord. And that is a lot of how I write my songs. That's probably the majority of my songs have happened that way. Or I'll be like, okay, I'm going to write a song, and I'll just kind of just start moving my hand along the neck of the guitar until I hear something that I like, that feels inspiring. It feels like my mood. It feels like what I'm looking for, whether or not I knew I was looking for that. Actually, it's not until this, like very recently, this last year or two, that we've been doing these song challenges with Tiller of the Moon. That process of every week writing a song has made me weirdly spend more time with writing a song, because I have a week to do it. So when I write a song, I might take 2 hours, 4 hours, which isn't that long, but I might take that whole time and not get up and just sit there with that song and keep hammering it out until I get a version of it that I like. And then that version evolves to be tighter, to have a clearer ending and beginning. And whatever repetition or whatever I'm doing, maybe more lyrics. But sometimes I think I'm going to go back and write more words. And then I go back to do that and I am like, it doesn't matter. Like the feeling is there and the feeling is enough for me a lot of times. But texturally in my music, I'm thinking about textures. And so I'm thinking about in those points in my music where I'm like drawing out the notes, I'm sort of smoothing it out. I'm broadening whatever's happening. It does something to you. And then I like to get like speedier or bumpier or, like add some bumps in the road to make it not boring. And I'm really thinking about that when I write a song. I really am thinking about how people are experiencing the texture of the song and that different rhythms do something to you and that I can kind of manipulate people a little bit with how I'm delivering the song. Again, for me, so often it's really not about what I'm saying so much as how I'm making you feel. Days Will Dawn. It's a picking song and it's very rhythmic, but it's simple. And what makes it sound more complicated is what I'm doing vocally, I think. And I think that's another theme in my music a lot, where it's like I'm literally playing the same thing over and over again, but it's what I'm doing with my vocals and changing up the rhythms and things like that that makes it sound like there's different parts, but there's not. I mean, there's different parts to what I'm doing vocally, but not on the guitar, really, besides dynamically getting louder or quieter. And sometimes when I know I'm playing the same thing over and over, I might start like strumming instead or like change up the rhythm, but the chords are the same, the strings are the same. And so, and I like that. I used to want to fight against that, and now I'm like, no, just lean in, that's just your style.
Pull me out from under the bed, my love, my love. Do you choose yourself instead, my love, my love? Each cloud that passes by, see your face in the sky, my love, love. These moments cut me dry, get lost in time, my love, love. Days will dawn and nights will fall. This should be fun. Who's gonna come? Days will dawn and nights will fall. This should be fun. Who's gonna come? Sometimes my eyes turn red, my love, my love. Teeth cause wild hair on my head, my love, my love. When your arms are around my waist, I can't complain, my love, love. I swear you swear it's fine. We don't dance in lines, my love, love. Ooh, ooh, Days will dawn and nights will fall. This should be fun. Who's gonna come? Days will dawn and nights will fall. This should be fun. Who's gonna come? Days will dawn and nights will fall. This should gonna come. Days will dawn and nights will fall. This should be fun. Who's gonna come?
I feel like I have a couple different formats. So I have like my country boy girl format, like more country-ish. And I have like my more rock music, which I usually put into Dry Spell. Which I think we're kind of an alternative rock band, indie rock band. And then I have like my more emo, like softer music that I actually would like it to be like lo-fi or something. Like as I'm playing it, I'm like, this needs like this like slow rhythm with it. And so I do think there's like 3 or 4 formats that I end up having. And there's one of them is like the ones that won't ever be shown to anyone. One of them, I don't actually like any of those ones that I write, and they always sort of come out the same. And I know when I write one of those songs that it was just like I needed to do that, and thank God that's over with, and I can just let that go. I first and foremost write music for me and for me as a listener. So I'm writing songs that I would want to hear. Like when I was talking about like textures and stuff, that's what I like about music. That's what I like to listen to, is songs that have like interesting things about them, nuances and maybe strange chords. I mean, I love to use strange chords. I love to play with dissonance and tension in my music. So that's what I write. And in that way, I am sort of thinking of the listener, but really the listener as me. And I don't write songs. I have written songs for people, but in general, I don't really do that. If people are going to listen to my music, I want them to feel like it's theirs. It's like it applies to them. And I love to feel the deep emotional stuff of music, like Radiohead's like my favorite band, and I loved Tool, and sort of like epic sound bites, like just huge open stuff that you can get carried away in. But I also love the simple emotionalness of like Nirvana, where it's like, this is, you know what this is, you know how that feels. Like you're feeling how he feels and you believe it because you felt it. Like I really like that. And so as far as performing and stuff or writing music, like I can't imagine my life without music, without writing music. And that scares me a little bit. Only because, what if something happened where I couldn't write music, and I'm so identified with it. I have such a relationship with music. And I would be so sad if we broke up. So I have a song called It's a Feat, F-E-A-T, like something that you're overcoming. And it's the same exact chords as, what's it called? Lean Into You, Rain Into You by Maisie Starr. And I think it's also the same chords as like a million different songs, honestly. I think not overlooking the power of that and the reason of that, like those chords go together, and that's why you keep finding them together. I think if I get too lost and I used to do this of constantly wanting to reinvent how I'm playing or complicate it, then that's what I'm doing, and I'm not writing a song anymore. It's more of an ego thing, I think. And so just allowing for a song to be exactly like everybody else's song, but different because it's yours, I think that's that song. And the words are so simple, but they make you feel something. Please don't waste no time with me because I want to totally blow it with you. Where it's just this like sort of, in that song in particular, I feel like the lyrics are sort of this, I say pursue or withdraw is just a dance you see. And it really is this sort of dance between of the pursuer and the withdrawer, and how those roles can change. Like we can inhabit both of those roles, and we do in relationships, especially in dysfunctional relationships. And but in all relationships, and that becomes really relatable. And so now the lyrics are really relatable, and then the song is something you've already heard. And so now I've just sort of like given you some bait to like my music. Like, this song is a crowd pleaser. I really wasn't thinking of that when I wrote it, but once I saw what it did, and the energy of the song is pretty big, it's lively. It's not sad. It's not one of my sad songs. And so it works. It does the thing.
Please don't waste no time with me, 'cause I wanna totally blow with you. Pursue withdrawal, it's just a dance to see. You're lucky I brought my dancing shoes. I'm bugging out. I'm struggling now. I'm bugging out. I'm struggling now. It's a feat, so lean, so light, glory. 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 So please don't waste no time with me, 'cause I wanna totally blow with you. Pursue a withdrawal, it's just a dance, you see. You're lucky I brought my dancing shoes. I'm bugging out. I'm struggling now. I'm bugging out. I'm struggling now. It's a feat, so lean, so light, glory. 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 So please don't waste no time with me, 'cause I wanna totally blow with you.
I like to use cliches in my songs because I know that a cliche is a cliche because it's true. It's a universal truth in a way. It's something we've all agreed upon. And so, and those cliches become like darts in songs where it's like you pull back that arrow and it goes right to where you want it to go. And I do that on purpose for sure. And I've had this feedback before where in my poems where it's like, oh, well, this sounds like a journal entry. It's personal, but it's also everybody's personal. It's the individual, but it's also the collective experience. And then somehow that really works. And I just allow myself to do that. Like I allow it to be corny if it's going to be corny. If it's an easy grab, a lot of times I'm like, fine, it's the easy grab. It's the word that rhymes. I think that actually becomes, that's sort of my style now, is to just sort of allow things. Because again, who am I doing this for and what does it matter and all that kind of stuff. And, I'm not the lyricist for the Grateful Dead. I'm not trying to reinvent the form and go all out there with things. That's not what I'm drawn to. I really like repetition. I like to repeat myself. I like to repeat a word or a phrase a bunch of times. That song in particular, It's a Feat, I thought I was going to go back and write another verse, and I didn't. I ended up just repeating myself, and I think it's great. I think it's fine. Yeah, so I guess I'm sort of a rebel a little bit in that way of like, no, I don't actually care about proving to anybody that I can write these really deep things. These are deep things. Cliches are deep. Like anything that's universally acknowledged like that is the deeper thing, in my opinion. So I think my music, there's a certain, like I was talking about the formats, there's a certain format that I play in, that I write some songs sometimes where I'm like, that's mine. That's like Heather. And then there's like the more country-ish stuff that I think is more influenced by other people. And so lately I have felt more myself in my music, whatever format I'm playing. I feel like I have like a palette of chords that I like. I have an idea about how I like to structure my songs now, and I'm open to the structure being different, but I do know now that there's a sort of genre of music that I'm in, and it's like indie music, which is broad. But it is a genre. It does mean something to be in a genre. Over my life, I think the music that I'm playing is directly correlated to what I'm going through in my life. And who I'm hanging out with and what I'm listening to. Like what I'm listening to definitely influences me and helps me break through when I get stuck. So if I'm feeling stuck musically, I'll just listen to just tons of music. I'll just listen and listen and listen until I get inspired to play again. And my music changes. Music changes over time. And so my music has also changed over time, like anybody else's. So yeah, depending on where I'm at in my life, my music is, like I said, it's coming from an emotional place. Whether the lyrics are matching up with the emotionalness of the melody is sort of doesn't matter, and sometimes does. And it's fluid within like parameters. It's permeable. I'm not very stuck or committed to it being a certain way, but it is a certain way. When I accepted that I repeat myself, I use cliches, I often write songs with 2 or 3 chords. I have a certain picking rhythm that I usually always go to no matter what, no matter how hard I try. Like all of that is okay. It's okay. And that was recently, that's like within the last 2 or 3 years that I was like, oh, this is actually just what being an artist is about. Like you have a style and then you go toward your style. And then that's when the artistry is there. That's the true art. So yeah, it took a while, but I got there. Within the last couple of years, I've been watching YouTube videos for vocal coaches because I want to be a better singer. And I was really hard on my singing for a while. And now I'm like, I have this way of singing, and no, I'm no Mariah Carey or anything like that. But it's like, that doesn't matter. Like my favorite musicians and singers are usually people with unique, maybe, not perfect voices. And that's endearing to me. And I have one of those voices. And so learning to use it, you just learn how to use your voice. And that has really helped me. And I think if you're wanting to write music, I think listening to your favorite artists and really noticing what you like about their music, and then giving yourself some space to do that with yourself too. Like, what do you like about what you are doing? And then lean into that. Like, how do you get better at being yourself musically? And give yourself time. Give yourself so much patience and time. And I think with anything that you're learning to do, like, it's really just going to be you and your guitar or piano, whatever it is, just sitting together and being together. And really, there's no replacement for that. There's no fast forwarding through that. It's hours and hours. I used to think, because I was a teen mom, like, I had no time to, like, forever I've had no time, because now I have 4 kids, and I have more time now that they're older than I ever did before. And that's why I think I'm advancing more now than I ever did before. I used to be like, oh, of course those teenage boys know all the scales. Like, they've got all the time in the world to sit there in their rooms and freaking plunk away. But I learned how to do it in these stolen moments. And they were very, like, I appreciated them all so much. And I think that's probably why I sit down and the song comes out in one go, because that's what I had. That's the time I had. I had the time of the baby taking a nap before the kids would get off school. Like, I had these little tiny time zones to be creating, and that's enough. That's enough. Like, I sat there with my guitar when I could, and now I just use other people's chords to play music, to write songs. Like, you're gonna get there, but it's gonna take a second. One more song that I want to mention from my little baby EP is the Crocodile song. The Crocodile song is about my partner and is also obviously sort of funny in a way, but it's also sort of sexy in a way. And it was definitely, I was going through a hard time at the time. So that's sort of present in it too, even though it also has this like loving sexiness. It has a neediness in it. It's very needy because I'm more the pursuer. Anyways, it shows up in that song, and I like the playfulness of that song a lot. And I like to watch people squirm in their seat when I'm playing the song a little bit, when they start to really listen to what the words are. Yeah, I mean, I think people connect to that song in a fun way. And I've had a couple comments like, crocodile, like, what? Like, who is this crocodile? And yeah, who is it? I don't know. Who's your crocodile?
Why do I want you all the time? You need to stop, 'cause baby, you're too fine. I think about our legs intertwined. You're on the road and baby, you're on my mind. You're so cold, let me warm your bones. Let me see you smile like a crocodile. Can I put my hand between your legs? Can I smell the skin on your face? You're so cold, let me warm your bones. Remember when we used to sneak around? Remember all the hiding places that we back of your truck on a riverbank, steaming up the windows in the pouring rain. You're so cold, let me warm your bones. Oh, let me see you smile like a crocodile. Can I put my hand between your legs? Can I smell the skin on your face? You're so cold, let me warm your bones. Whoa, let me see you smile like a crocodile, 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 like a crocodile.
Thank you for listening to the Songwriting Mind. This interview with Heather Carpenter was recorded on December 11th, 2024, in Port Orford, Oregon. Her EP, What I Meant to Say, will be available for streaming on January 11th, 2025. This podcast was produced by yours truly, Eric Princess Dragon. If you enjoyed this episode, please follow us and share it with others. Peace.